Well, good afternoon, guys. We're back at the barn. Haven't gotten any work that actually, well, I've gotten work, but it was either too dirty or too small for me to want to record and post. So I kind of waited a little too long, but I finally got something, guys. This unit here had issues with turbo, had issues with injectors. Uh, it was too many issues, too many problems that didn't coincide, so we decided to check. And as we performed a wiggle test, we found out that the harness is the one that's causing the problem. So I'm going to go ahead and replace the engine harness on a DT466. All right, this one's a 2007 model, so yeah, it's EGR and all that stuff. So let me go ahead and start taking this one apart. And most of the video is going to be fast frame as for me removing. Once I install, I'll go ahead and slow it down and tell you guys how we route the wires and what connectors go where and so on and so forth. So let me go ahead and get started. Well, guys, after you undo the harness on the engine side, there's one little connector that goes to your crank position sensor. That is very hard to get to. You have to come through the inside of the bus and undo your doghouse engine cover. Let me show you. Well, guys, for this connector, you have to undo your engine cover. Open it up just a bit. Crawl in through the driver's side. And I know it's a little dark, guys, but this is the connector right here. This is the one we have to kind of open up quite a bit just to get to. Once you get this one out, you can pull the harness off and you're done with removing it. Let me take this off and I'll show you the harnesses. Well, guys, as you can see, this here is our old harness. I mean, it's been there. I mean, it's what, 13, 14 years old. Who knows how many times these connectors have been undone. But I mean, most of the time when they undo them, start breaking the little locks on them. ECM looks fine, IDM looks fine. The one that we're having issues with is this one right here. This one controls, it goes to the VGT controller on the turbo, and because of this, turbo wouldn't actually kick in. And crank sensor that controls injectors, temperature sensor, cam sensor, temperature sensor, and well, look at this. I mean, if this were on a truck, we would repair bad connections. But since this is on a school bus, I mean, we transport children, we are not going to repair this. We are going to go ahead and replace it with a new harness. ECM, IDM. This is your IPR, fuel, temperature. This was blocked off. This is back pressure. That's the connector that's bad on the other one. This is your VGT connector, temperature sending unit, cam sensor. This is your back pressure sensor, and so on, guys. Let me go ahead and start rerouting this one, and then I'll kind of start telling you what the connectors go to. Well, as you guys can see, I mean, you have to kind of maneuver this harness back into place. It does have little holes. A harness has little don't know what to call these dudes, but they're just little push-ins, kind of holds the harness in place, little clips, retainers. And well, here's one, and the hole's right there. You just kind of push it into place, and well, kind of mold the wire. Over here you kind of run it behind your oil tube, around the filter. Bring it back up, and you just kind of route your wires the way they were supposed to, or the way they were, so that you can go ahead and make all your connections. I mean, difficulty, it's not that bad. It's just, well, remembering where the wires went through and just following the same route. Let me go ahead and finish rerouting all these, and I'll come back to you in a bit. Well guys, we got all this wire loom here, just rerouted, and let me show you a couple of connections here. These two, nothing, they're capped off, so just leave them like that. 1 second, sorry about that. Okay, this one's capped off, this one's capped off. This in here goes to your EGR valve. Make that connection. Then you come back, your air temperature sensor. I'm getting this one-handed, guys, so bear with me. There's that. This little clip goes around your this here's your mat and your MAF, and you come around and you have this clip. This clip goes on around that fuel line. It's just to kind of hold the wire in place, and then you got your connector for your oil temperature sensor right there. Then you come down here, and this one, all right, you have to kind of find your connectors. This is for your fuel temperature. It's on the fuel bowl. There you go. There you go. There's that. And then you have down here, you do have a water and fuel sensor. It's in back of the filter. Can't show you that, so let me go ahead and get that, and I'll come back to you guys. Now that we got those, we got to get our IPR. Make sure it's got the little wire, little lock. Hold on. It's got this little wire that you use to lock it into place. Plug it into your IPR. Sorry about that, guys. I'm trying to get it and give you a good view, but kind of couldn't. So once you plug it in, you push the little wire and lock it into place. So that's that. We got one more, which is this one right here. That's your EOP, that's your engine oil pressure. And that one is going to be very hard for me to show you guys. It's way down here in the block. That one right there. Well, we got that one in there, guys. Now we come in, connectors to the ECM. Once you reroute your wires, connectors are just going to be right next to where they go. Make sure it locks into place. And then you go into your little control module here. Make sure that the release tab is on the right side. And guys, this thing is impossible to get this one-handed, so let me go ahead and get this plug in there, and I'll come back to you guys in a bit. Guys, make sure you do hear a snap. I mean, don't just push them in and assume that they're on there. These suckers have to go in there and lock, because if not, they'll wiggle out and it'll cause issues. The two connectors for the control module are down here. There's no way of me showing you these. They're too, I mean, they're really embedded in there. Yeah. Well, now we got all this done. We got to get this one. This is the one that was causing the issues. This one here. This is the main reason why we changed this out. So let's go ahead and maybe in there. And let's go ahead and go around the engine and get the back pressure sensor, VGT, and all that. So let me go ahead and walk around this engine. Don't forget, guys, don't forget your ICP connector on your valve cover, and of course your crank positioning sensor. So let me go ahead and get these two. I can't show you, but let me get these two, and then we'll move around to the other side. Guys, you kind of maneuver your wires behind this little tube for your exhaust back pressure sensor. Put the little keeper in place, plug it in, run the insulated wire cover goes off to the side, runs down, and connects to your VGT connector right there. That's for your turbo VGT controller. And then over here, it's a little greasy, guys, so I'm not going to show you everything on this one. You have to maneuver your wires through here, around the pulleys. You have two places. You see it's got this little bracket right here, bolts onto the block to keep the wires from actually scraping against those pulleys. There's one here, and there's one a little bit lower. It's a 10 millimeter, 8 millimeter, and you have your temperature sensor, which is right here, and then you have your cam sensor right in front of this timing cover, right next to this tensioner. Well, guys, I just wanted to show you what prevents me from actually getting better footage, since I'm only working one-handed, and some of the areas that I go into, look at that. So that's the reason why I can't get the greatest of footage for you guys, but I'm trying. Right now we got the harness all connected on the engine bay, engine compartment. Ran the wires across the engine. Let me show you. Got the back pressure sensor connector, got the VGT connector, ran the wires, looped them, got that little temperature sensor, and got the cam sensor over there in front of that crankcase. You can see the little bolt holding that little flange. Can't see this one. Those are just little flanges that you have to bolt on, so that it'll just keep the wires away from the pulleys, so the pulleys don't eat into them. And well, we got the outside of this engine done. Let me go get that crank positioning sensor. Oh, check this out, guys. Check this out, guys. That's a VT365, which is a 6.0. That one's going into a unit. We bring it in tomorrow morning, and we get started on that one. That's just going to be an R&R. Well, let me go ahead and go inside the bus and get the connections done on the crankcase and crank it over, see what it does. Alright guys, here's a connector. And there we go, guys. So everything is connected. If we didn't forget anything, this sucker should crank right up. Let me turn. It's going to get a little noisy because our engine cover is off the firewall, so we're going to hear some noise. Well guys, here we go. Engine cover's on. Got it all bolted up. Let's go ahead and go to the outside and see what else we got to do on this one. Everything seems to be running fine. No more check engine, no more warn engine. We're going to go ahead and well, consider this one done, guys. Appreciate you guys watching. Like and comment.